the joystick, he's ruling the zone. Gaming world's his digital crone. From pixels to planets, he's never alone. In the realms we conquer, the seeds are sown. Jordan's gaming flair, he's got the beats. Pixel quests and high score feats. Pop culture vibes with endless repeats. In our podcast, he's on the streets. Digital ascent, we're climbing high. Voices in the ether touch the sky. With tech and games and culture bright, come along with us, ignite the night. Brandon's in play with a pixel blade drawn. Quests and controllers from dusk till dawn. XP stacking, the leaderboard's gone. In gaming's heartbeat, he's the spawn. Digital ascent, we're climbing high. Voices in the ether touch the sky.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Hello.
We are early today.
Yeah.
We're early.
Which means maybe I'll get to the end and not fall asleep.
There's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we're early. We're an hour earlier tonight, and we're gonna actually try to stick to the agenda and end when we would normally begin. So,
See how it goes.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. We got some good content to cover here, but yeah, we had a little hiatus there because of the way the month landed. My mind's so programmed for like every 2 weeks, and that's not how it always lands. So this last one like really threw me for a loop. So it feels like it's been way longer than it actually was. It's interesting how the extra week makes it feel that much longer. I don't know. And we have Brandon, who is a basement dweller, by the way, the sexy kind, though. I just want to call that out.
And how?
A title I did not claim for myself. I just have to put that out there because you can't claim that kind of title for yourself.
No, it needs to be bestowed, which it was, happily.
True. That's very true. What do we got? What are we starting with here? Topic one, as usual, gaming roundtable. What are we playing? What have you guys been playing?
Okay, so I've had a situation where I've had to quarantine for 10 days now. Yeah, I don't want to go into the details.
Okay.
It's not that big a deal, but like it's frustrating. So I've had a lot of video game time. So I have completed The Last of Us. That game's good, you know, but I'm finally all the way done through that. I've picked up Rift Breaker on the Steam sale. That game is awesome. You know, if you're into like base building, like, yeah, and like Smash, it's like a base builder matched up with an ARPG, like Diablo style, and it's pretty good. Ish, Diablo-ish style. I'm playing through Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, God.
Yep, playing through the second one.
That's a beefy boy.
It is, man. I thought I was getting close to the end, and then I realized I'm halfway through, which means I'm really taking my time. So that one's pretty good. And Stardew Valley is pretty good, guys. I think me and the wife have like 50 hours since the last time we were on stream, which is crazy because like there's only a couple games that we put 50 hours into together. And like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more yet. We haven't even started trying to build friendships or anything. All we're doing is grinding cash at the moment. And
Sounds like a first marriage relationship.
oh yeah, all we're doing is
In the first 20 years grinding cash.
yeah.
And finally you can go on vacation.
All we do right now is grind money. We wake up and we animal husbandry and we water. I guess I just set up sprinklers, so I have a lot less watering to do now, thankfully. And those are pretty nice. And I don't know. I think we're gonna build some bigger barns next.
Stardew Valley, some good stuff there. I like me some Stardew Valley.
I feel like there's probably a lot more there that I'm not experiencing because all I'm doing is trying to grind cash. I think that
much.
I think that maybe the game is actually focused on relationships. And
It's kind of one of those games you can focus on whatever part you like the most.
okay, sure.
So if you like the farming sim part, go for it.
Apparently, I like to make money. You know, those little numbers, those little digital numbers go up.
Hey, you don't know how
tickles
many.
my dopamine. Tickles my dopamine. There we go.
There's
Gosh.
been so many harvests of a farm full of cranberries that I
Ooh.
have done over the years,
Is that a good one?
and I love it every time.
We're not doing a lot of cranberries. Should we be doing cranberries?
I like them. They're one of. I mean, you can do maximum efficiency with Stardew Valley, but that feels just slightly wrong.
Okay.
Try to
Yeah.
do that.
I've thought about that. I've had that feeling like there's probably a maximum efficiency, and like some of it I do. Sometimes I'm like, we're gonna do an entire harvest of potatoes. 200 potatoes or something like that.
I'll do something. I'll do like a whole harvest of like one thing, but I'm always doing a little bit of others because I like to have a little of everything.
Yeah, I don't know what turns into meals and stuff yet, and so
A lot of it, and I have in my main game on Steam. I don't remember how far I'm in, but I have something like 12 refrigerators.
yeah,
So that I can organize all my food.
yeah. Okay, that's how many I need. All right, I've got 6 right now. It's
Yeah,
been
I kept adding to them because well, I like to organize things.
Hey, mermaid. Yeah, Shaun's still on vacation from the podcast. It is crazy. He got shit going on though. He's welcome back whenever, of course. We love him. He always welcome. He did not approve his PTO. I'll let him know that. Oh,
He
man.
will be told.
Yeah, for sure. Stardew's good, man. It's surprising. I didn't think I'd like a farming sim, but I think like maybe Stardew Valley is actually a decent game. So maybe even beyond decent.
It is a bit of a gateway drug. I ain't gonna lie.
So
I played it and fell
what?
in love, and I've played so many farming sims since.
yeah,
Not all of them are good. Some of them suck, but in general, that kind of farming loop
hmm
is one I've found that I really enjoy.
it's been fun working with the wifey on this is like her first real resource management type game, and so Mermaid said she'd be farming on Minecraft. See, I just don't get Minecraft. Like I know a lot of people do.
I love me some
I know,
Minecraft.
I know other people get it, but I'll be trying to teach Sam like the basics of survival games. What is quick stack? Why don't we just dump whatever we have in the chest? Everything goes in. You gotta take the wood and you gotta put the wood in the wood chest. You gotta put the veggies in the veggie chest. And I don't know. It's been fun.
Have you built a workbench yet?
No, what's the spread on a workbench? How big is it?
You mean where can it pull from?
Yeah. How big's the squares? Like
Basically, the
the horseshoe around
8
it.
around
Okay.
it'll pull from.
Okay. I'll have to set that up. I've got a spot that's be a good horseshoe or like a good horseshoe spot for the bench to go into. It's a good idea.
Oh, I'm wanting to play it now.
Well, you can.
Start it back up.
Mermaid says, I was a huge hater until the past 2 weeks. LOL. I assume that's Minecraft. You just got into Minecraft? What do you do on there? What you be
Mine.
making?
I bet.
Or you playing brain rot on there? I assume there's brain rot on Minecraft, just like there's brain rot in Roblox.
Don't know what you're talking about. I ain't gonna lie.
You don't know what brain rot is? Man,
I mean,
it's like those
if
it's those like cheaper free video games. You know what? They're the equivalent of those Flash games that we played growing up, but like now it's been shipped into a platform like Roblox and stuff like that. So
I ain't
there
gonna
you go.
lie, and then I guess I need to say what I've been playing since
Yeah, it's your
we
turn.
said we were gonna get done.
Yeah.
But I was looking over my kid's shoulder while he was playing Roblox today, and there's a couple of games. I was like, those look like legitimate games. They've done something to their graphics engine or something where it's like, oh, that doesn't look like crap compared to other video games. It's just something I noted. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what I've been playing, I played uh, as has been usual for the last few months. I got more into emulation and was just playing around with stuff. I've been playing random arcade titles. Like I haven't played arcade games in God knows how long, and I kind of got out of that really early in life. So even well before that, all of them died out, I had stopped playing. But I've just Retrobat, which is what I've been using for the last few weeks, has a button, a random button, and there's like 8,000 arcade games or something. Actually, I think it's 800 or something. 8,000 and 800. That's two different numbers. And I've just been playing whatever it gives me, and I found some really cool stuff. I've been playing random NES games, another console that typically at this point, when I try to go back to an NES game, I kind of don't like them. I found that, but so far found a few that I'm like, oh, that was legitimately fun. What has helped is that with emulation, you can turn off the sprite limit. You ever notice how with the NES games they'll flicker?
Mm-hmm.
Like the graphics flicker? That's because NES can only display so many sprites at one time. So in order to get more sprites on the screen, they had to basically like alternate which ones were being shown. So like your one character's legs will just start flickering in and out. But with emulation, you can turn that limit off and get rid of a lot of the flicker, which it does break some games because some games use that for like effects. But I can't stand the flickering. It triggers my brain in some way that it's just really, really hard for me to watch. So yeah, been playing a lot of old games. I rolled credits on Fantasy Life I, which is not actually finishing yet. I mean, that's one of those games that you can dump hundreds of hours into if you want to. I haven't decided if I'm going to be playing it more or not. I want to, but there's so much to play. Logiart Grimoire. It's a Picross game.
So what
you
game?
Don't know what Picross is? Picross? Picross.
I'm gonna go take a look.
Yeah,
It's called Logiart.
it is basically a number puzzle where you fill in blocks to make a picture.
I've never seen such a thing. Brent, do you know what this is, man? Have you seen this?
I have a few that I've gotten as part of like the, fanatical buy 10 Steam keys for $3, and I ended up with a bunch of those.
Hold up. I want to stop on that for a minute. Why did you buy 10 Steam keys for $1?
Because I'm a sucker. I'll go in there and I'll pre-order a game or buy a new game that's coming out for 10% off, and then as you're checking out, it's like, you could get 10 keys for this amount. And I'm like, yes, I love keys.
Wait, no way.
Yeah. Because you do have it's a very small chance, but you have a small chance of getting like big boy titles out of that.
Oh, okay. So how many dollars has you spent, and how many big boy titles has you got?
I think the biggest game I got when I looked it up, I'm trying to think of what game it was, but it was like a $30 game.
Okay. Did you already own it?
No.
Okay. But how much
it was
money
one I was vaguely interested in.
Okay, but how much money have you spent now on there though? How many hundreds of dollars?
It hasn't been that much. I'd say probably like $40, maybe 30.
So was it profitable? I don't know.
It's like opening up a pack of Pokemon cards, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just get to see what you get.
Yep.
But anyway, Picross. The company Jupiter. I don't know if you know Picross. You know Mario's Picross, which was on Game Boy, and then there's one. It was a second one on Game Boy that was released in Japan, and a SNES game that was in Japan, and then several others. But the company Jupiter made all those, and they've continued to make Picross games on the Switch. There's like 10 of them that they've created over the years, maybe more at this point. But they released their first game on Steam called Logiart Grimoire. and it's just a Picross game with some kind of additional story related stuff. That historically has been my chill game. Like if I just don't want to really think, kind of funny because you actually do have to think, but I've
Yeah.
done them enough to where it doesn't take a lot of brain power uh,
Huh.
to do them.
It's like a different side of the brain.
Yeah, I mean, it it's just it takes up enough of the thinking to stop the voices, but not so much you can't hear the other voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then last but not least, started Songs of Conquest, which is a Heroes of Might and Magic kind of a. It's a pixel art. It's like city builder or city manager more. You can build city stuff, but it's more like you're building a few things for each city, but and then cross with like a tactical RPG. Really good. I like it. About 3 hours in.
I'll pick that one up.
That's it.
Steam sale's been good to me.
I've only bought that game, and well, no, that and the Logi Art, the Picross game.
I bought a
Only
few
two I
games
bought.
for like $2 here and there. You know,
Yeah,
I want to get a couple more. I think anything else I buy, I want to be like games I'm interested in that's like 90% off. Like I don't really. I got too much backlog right now.
That's
Well,
perpetual for me.
yeah.
I will never not have a backlog unless for some
absolutely.
reason I am able to retire early and I can just sit at home for like a year and play video games and not have to worry about finances. I will
Brother.
never
still
work
have a
through my
backlog.
backlog.
You will still have a backlog.
Nah, I
Knowing
yeah.
you.
I'm telling you right now, that'd be the only chance I'd ever work through it. So on the Steam sale, I bought the original House Flipper for like $1.50.
Why?
Man, those sorts of games, I don't know what it is about those sorts of games. I like.
Here's
screwing
some more
around with
work.
those.
I just got off work. Time to do work.
It's well, you know what? I bought it primarily though because it plays really well on the Steam Deck. So
Oh,
it's just kind of
yes.
cool to pick up and like I don't know, go paint a room. And
Is
like,
that
Plays
cool?
well, except for somebody like me with very bad eyes, and it was one of those games that the text was just too small.
oh yeah,
I got a headache reading it over time, so
So
I couldn't play it on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Yeah, the text could be better. I bought that, and I bought because I enjoyed the first one so much, Little Nightmares. I bought Little Nightmares 2.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that was on sale.
Such a good series there. So I was like, I gotta add that to the library to play that at some point because that's one I actually rolled credits on and thoroughly enjoyed.
That one
really
Is that
cool
like
style.
an actual scary game or something that's kind of pretending to be scary?
It's got some jump scare moments, and I think the second one's supposed to be worse in that regard, but it's not, it's not first person. It's a side scroller puzzle game with
Yeah, it's more like
it's like a Tim Burton feel to it almost.
I was gonna say it has kind of, it's not Lovecraftian, but like if you think about, Lovecraft and it being just kind of like a dark and scary world in general.
Yeah.
Like
Really
at least
neat,
that was my impression watching.
Cool premise and all that.
Yeah. The show.
So that, yeah, tons of good stuff on the Steam sale. What I've been actually playing though is putting time into Dune Awakening. I really like that a lot. I think I'm up to like 30, maybe 30 something hours.
Not like that game.
You did not like it.
I have 10 hours in it, and then I had to quarantine, as stated earlier, and it does not stream well from the computer to the Steam Deck. It just doesn't like it runs on the computer, set it to the Steam Deck, and it looks terrible. And so, I didn't get that much into it. I mostly found the game to be like empty and frustrating, which I guess makes sense. But like I'll get to a point where I can play again. And if my homies are still playing, then I guess I'll play some more. But my guess is that I spent, $50 and I'm getting 10 hours out of it, which makes it one of the worst investments ever.
Yeah, that I returned it.
I could
Gave
not.
me-
I couldn't return it. I went back.
I was at an hour and 9 minutes, and it sort of gave me a minor panic attack. So I don't know why. I don't know if it's just where my brain is right now, but I started playing it, and I was like, I'm feeling not okay. And I was like, I don't want to waste this $50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back. I have like 8 hours, and I went to Steam, and I was like, "Yo, I know I'm over the 2-hour limit, but this game isn't so good, and I would like to spend my money somewhere else, please." And they were
It's-
like,
They said
"No."
no.
It's
They were-
not. It's not for everybody. I will say. I enjoy the loop. It's a different loop. I've also, on top of that, as Marla said in chat, we've been playing Minecraft, a modded. We've been playing the Java version, a couple of versions back from the main build, and playing it modded. And I think we probably have like
that makes
30
sense.
mods. It's more quality of life stuff than it is anything else. Not anything game breaking. And that's been fun. I mean, we've got a little town, and the usual Minecraft stuff. You got the people who enjoy hanging out in the town, like Mandy. She's got a whole like farm going on, like animal farm, and she's like herding cats. She's got, I don't know how many cats she's got in this building. She built like a catio, and it's got like 30 cats in it. Every time you walk by the building, all you hear is meow, 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 just constantly. I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. But yeah, just having fun with that. And that's been kind of the family game. That's been, the kids are on it. Everybody's on it. So that's, and once again, kind of like you with Stardew right now, Matt, another game other than World of Warcraft that I can get Mandy on, that she's actually taking a liking to. She didn't think she was going to like it, and then she's been playing it, and she's found her little niche in that big sandbox that is Minecraft that she really enjoys. So it's been good.
That's good, man. It's crazy. Like, I think Sam genuinely enjoys Stardew Valley, and like she said that she didn't think she was going to. Marla out here says, "Oh, you got Mandy on it."
All right, Marla, go ahead and Venmo me the $30 I spent on it. The 22. I'm pretty sure technically I got her into it. Okay. We've had a good time.
Good times.
I inevitably, whenever I play Minecraft, end up digging a cavern and going underground and doing some huge dig, and that's where my base is. I've never built a base above ground.
Really?
I'm a dwarf, I guess, at heart.
At heart, yeah.
See, I always do like a hybrid. I have some sort of something poking above ground, but then I do have a larger part, like my stash underground. Or I also enjoy in those games, I like finding pre-built stuff and taking it over and making it my own.
Yep, I'll find a cavern and then I start like forming it inside and like
building onto it or whatever.
I don't have enough time to do another game like that, but I want to now.
That's where I'm struggling right now. I'm also playing Switch 2, stuff, and I have so many sandboxy open world games where and I've been gone the past week. I've been on vacation, so I haven't had time to put into any of them. And then I come back and I'm like, oh my God, well, where do I start? What games do I maintain first?
You know what you need?
What's that?
You need a Barbie that can talk to you.
It is true.
And
You think a Barbie could play my games for me?
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
So AI Barbie is real. What could possibly go wrong? Who's leading us off on this one, Matt? Do you have details on this?
Yeah. So Mattel has announced that they will have their first AI-powered toy by the end of 2025. I assume that means prior to the Christmas season, because when else would you launch something like this? And that's crazy. Allegedly they're going to tie it into ChatGPT somehow. My guess is that you'll stick it on Wi-Fi and you'll get, Barbie's proprietary ChatGPT. I think this is crazy. Like, it's an obvious next step, right? Like, I think everyone's seen this coming. I'm pretty sure we talked about it last year at some point in time, or maybe the year before. Like, everyone saw it coming, but it's actually here now. I think it's crazy. I have a bunch of like open-ended questions here, and like for you guys to just kind of like talk about, or think about open-ended thoughts. One is like, what are like the privacy concerns with like a child that has access to, something that's going to retranscribe all of its like conversations, you know what I mean? And, I have thoughts about, Like, how do you control what this thing's gonna talk back to you, and how could you make it do harm? Like, if you were a malicious actor, like I don't know. It's crazy shit. So I kind of cut it over to either of you guys. Any thoughts, feelings, opinions, guys?
I see Brandon gearing up.
Yeah.
You got a
I
thought?
don't. I mean, I think that if you have given your kid a smartphone, then there's nothing much different than this. And if they're trying to gear it toward older kids, whatever they do, I mean, they're already doing this kind of stuff already. So I guess it's one of those, like, if it's a problem, problem's already here, not this is going to be a problem. That's kind of where I feel on it.
That's
Interesting.
where that's when your privacy question that you asked first and foremost, that's where my mind hit eventually, was like, my kids have iPads, they have smartphones already, like Siri is already listening. We already know there's a certain other social media platform that listens because you get targeted ads all the time just by being in the vicinity of a phone that apparently does not have the mic enabled. But it sure is funny that as soon as you start scrolling that platform, boom, you get targeted ads. Crazy. So I don't know. I think we've got so many things listing already. I don't know that the privacy side of it is a concern for me.
You're like, it's already so bad. Who cares about the
Hey,
dumpster
look,
fire?
I was making this joke with somebody the other day.
Jesus
They're like,
Christ.
we use Square, blah, 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 blah. And I slid my card and I was like, I'll just do a text receipt, because I'm not going to try to burn up paper. Let's save the environment. Yay, whatever. And they're like, we don't save your information. I was like, everyone's already got it anyways. I don't care. And they were like, no, we really don't save it. I was like, I'm joking mainly, but it's true. Google and all these other places, they already got our information. There's no getting away from it at this point.
Man, that's like the hottest take.
I've conceded, man.
The
I've
problem's
conceded.
so bad that I've given up. I mean, like, I guess I understand it. I would love to say that I couldn't get it, but I do get it.
I mean, it's like, if you want to play ball, all these services, I mean, we are in some cases, we always joke, like, if you're getting something for free, you are the product, right?
Not
like,
a joke, is a fact. Yes.
But I think there's some cases still, even when we are paying, we are still the product, because like my Apple One that I pay for monthly and all that, like, they're using every bit of data from how I'm using their services and what I'm inputting into it and all that. So, like, this Barbie, Mattel is certainly going to be harvesting data, despite that they're going to phrase it in a way that makes us feel warm and fuzzy.
Bro,
but
it's going to be that Black Mirror episode, and it's going to start spewing ads.
Oh, no, man. Do you know how good I'd look with my Barbie dream home?
That's what I'm saying. Oh my God, the upsell. Oh, dude, because you could low key, you could be like I've seen some like Gen AI instruction sets from big companies at this point that have been like leaked, and like there's a lot of amusing stuff in there, but you write the instructions in plain English. So you literally could write in there low key upsell Barbie products. And like, don't do it all the time, but every once in a while, there's an opportunity that really makes sense. Make sure to mention the Barbie Playhouse with the deluxe garage, of course, in the big car. That's gross. I was like,
I mean,
now what I don't know,
super Black Mirror.
I can
totally
imagine
legit though.
this completely not selling at all. Because I think that even though I'm a bit pragmatic about the actual concerns relative to the concerns that are already out there, I agree with Brent in terms of like, but at the same time, I usually default to, I don't give my information, and I don't use Siri, and I don't, because at the same time, I don't want people to know stuff anyway. But in terms of like the optics, like, I think there's a good chance, and Mattel already did it once back in the teens. I think when they did.
There was
like,
something that they tried to do, and I don't think it
like
worked out, and it turned into a privacy nightmare.
AI Barbie, and
there's a privacy
bombed,
problem,
and they had to take it off the. And I don't know that we're not still there from a parent standpoint, like where there's enough when you start saying AI and in a toy. I don't know that we're quite where parents are going to be like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great thing. I think there's a good chance this bombs too, but maybe they're accounting for that first one bombing, but they're going to continue. That's why they've made this kind of arrangement. They'll throw something out there.
Man, this is 100% the future. Like
I didn't
what
say it
we're
wasn't.
no, I mean,
I'm not sure if it's if
you
it's
don't, you
quite
still
there
don't
for
know
the.
if we're ready. I don't
I
know.
don't know if parents are going. It depends on how they market it. If they market it as the first AI toy, I think it'll. I don't think it'll do well.
No, I don't think so. I think they'll just market it as conversational Barbie.
Yeah, if they do
AI
well,
powered conversations. It can have simple conversations with your child.
if they're gearing it toward 13 plus, it's not going to be that.
Okay,
It's going
so
to be
what I put there
growth.
is that, so I know I put that in the show notes, and what they're saying, and like that I probably should have put in, that was an opinion by the person who was writing the article, is that that like it is for kids, but that there's some suspicion that, you know, that adults who collect toys will grab this up as a collector's item. I wasn't
Yeah.
specific in there, and I agree with that. I think people will buy this. You know, I think that there's plenty of people who will be like, "Ooh, talking Barbie," and not think twice about the fact that it's talking on a server.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's a large percentage of parents that just buy, right?
Just
Like
buy.
if the kid
Just buy.
is screaming about something, I want this for my birthday, I want this for Christmas, they're not gonna do any research on this. They're just gonna go buy it and they're gonna bring it home and they're gonna
But
connect
if
it to the
that
Wi-Fi and
concern
that's
throws
done.
up in their echo chambers, you know, we all have them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have much of an echo chamber anymore because I just don't listen to anybody. But we all have them, and if it starts getting into those echo chambers that this is not secure, this is not. Hey, don't get me wrong. If this was Hasbro and I had and this was going to be an Optimus thing, I'd be buying it.
There we go.
I don't care. But it's
I
not
could
Hasbro,
talk
so I
back
don't
to
have
you
worry
in
about it.
Terminator voice. No, sorry. Opticon. Is that right? Did I get it right? What are the Transformer? The Decepticons, and who are the other?
Decepticons, Autobots.
It's the Autobots, Opticons. Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
god, Matt, I hate you so much. Now.
I never look, man.
Oh,
I like
no.
Let's get to the
Transformers.
second. Let's get to the second
Okay.
topic. I can't even.
All right,
All
what do
right,
we got?
this
Let's
one's
see.
depressing.
This one is
Yeah, it is.
depressing.
This one is depressing. I wish Jordy was here so I could talk shit. I'm sorry, Jordy.
Ah,
I even hated having the play on words that this title has here. The game over for 9,000 devs.
It is. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
that-
How
oh.
insensitive, Brent.
I
Dang,
know.
son.
That's ChatGPT
Oh.
that came up with that. So we'll
Damn,
blame that on
son.
AI.
See, see. There you
Look
go.
at that.
It's already off to a
Alright.
rough start, guys.
I'll break the bad news. I'll break the bad news.
Go for it.
Xbox is laying off another 9,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Not-
canceling games,
Mm-hmm.
but 9,000 more people. Like that's on top of. I know it was Microsoft's number. I think like 18,000. Is that what last year they laid off? Let me.
Was it that high? That's crazy.
I think the total tally for last year was pretty high. Yeah.
You know what's crazy is that I remember Microsoft talking about how they were going to buy up all these companies and how it was going to be good for the industry because they were going to get the opportunity to build all these cool games now with all these neat companies.
I can't. All the news articles are just the last 5 days, so I can't verify it without more time. But yeah, it's well over 10,000, I think, and a lot of those were.
That's crazy.
Xbox.
That's so much, man.
These
Some of the-
canceled titles make me real sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna well, to go over those canceled titles. So Perfect Dark. So it's a reboot of the old games. I never played them, but I know that they have strong following.
Mm-hmm.
Everwild, which was Rare's fantasy title. They'd been in development for like well over 10 years, I think. Looked really cool. The times that I saw like and they talked about it, I was really excited.
Well, and Rare's
Project
just a
Blackbird. I
gem.
haven't heard of that.
Rare
one,
is a
y'all.
gem.
I was just saying Rare. I like
Mhm.
Rare's work, so
Yeah,
it's
Rare.
sad to see that.
Yeah.
Project
Rare just does good
Blackboard,
stuff.
Blackboard, Blackboard, Project Blackbird. Yeah, I'd heard about that a few times, but I don't know.
This
Did
last
they ever
one-
release any real press for that?
I don't even remember hearing about that one.
Hmm.
The last one hurts me though. Forza. So they laid
Yeah.
off half the workforce and pivoted people to Forza Horizon. Now, are they? Did they say they were not going to do Forza Motorsport? I don't think they did. I'm sure
I
they're
don't
open-
know.
they were open for that.
I mean, the impression I got is that they were doing something else, and now they're focusing on their forever service title, right? I mean, that's what Horizon's supposed to be, right? It's their racing live service
Well,
game.
Well, so was
what
Forza.
I was gonna say.
Motorsport was
That's what
supposed to be
Forza
that
was supposed to
too,
be.
just on a simulation.
Yeah.
Well,
ladder.
I don't know that
They wanna
simulation
grind
does
this
it
stuff.
for people anymore. I think the demographic of people that buy Horizon is much deeper and much
Yes.
bigger or larger number than anybody buying Forza, just the regular game.
That being said,
mean-
I want to pull it out. I have a friend who has a full on racing sim. Like I'm
Yeah, but they don't
talking
play Forza. They're playing
thousands of dollars
all the
of-
other ones on Steam.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
there you go.
There's definitely a market out there, but Forza didn't win anybody back
No.
with their last one. Now with it went downhill from like 6 to 7 and then 8. And
Bummer.
although 8 was, I liked it, but it never got the market back from the. I mean, you have the PC ones like Assetto Corsa, iRacing, Race Room. Those are like huge, and iRacing in particular. But then on the console side, GT7, Gran Turismo 7, is just more. I almost said more better, more loved. You know, it's got the, got the.
Sony's been able to
crowd.
hold on to that crowd for many, many years,
Yes,
and not in the
yes.
same way that Forza's been able to kind of keep folks. It also didn't help. We're in this period of time right now. I keep seeing videos like this, and it really makes me sad. This is a little bit of a sidebar, but also it plays into this conversation of layoffs. I think because we're getting so many kind of cookie cutter games these days. I think, but you see oftentimes what you end up getting these days for quote unquote AAA titles is you get a game that fidelity wise and graphically doesn't look much better than what we had 10 years ago, and runs worse on way more expensive hardware. We're talking people with 5070s, 5080s, and 5090s having all sorts of issues with these modern games. And they'll do a side by side of some of these games with the iteration that came out, 5 to 10 years ago. And the version from 5 to 10 years ago looks better and plays better. That is dumb. What are we doing? Like, what are these devs are like, oh, we've been working on this game for 10 years. They release it and it is shit. And it's like, guys, like, obviously we've been waiting a long time for a lot of these iterations. So we buy it, right? Like if it's something we love, if it's a franchise we love, we buy it. But that plays into that conversation. That was the first thing you heard about Forza was look at this compared to even, I think they were comparing it to 6 and 7. And the car models in the older games looked leaps and bounds better than the new one. And they're like, well, we had to rebuild from scratch. We had to add in all these suspension systems and all this shit. And it's like, well, you guys were doing this 10 years ago. Like what's the big whoop now? So I think they lost a lot of the hardcore folks with that. But I've seen a lot of other ones too. Like I saw a comparison video recently of Monster Hunter. They were comparing it to Wilds, the newest iteration. They were comparing it to, oh God, which one was it? Was it World maybe even, which has been, I think 5 or 6 years now since that came out. World looks better in most cases. It looks better.
Wow.
It's smoother.
Really?
Yeah. Wilds runs like ass. Like so many devs have just given up on optimizing. They're like, oh, well, NVIDIA is going to DLSS the shit out of this. So we're just going to rely on that. And it's like, come on, guys. What else was it? I don't remember, but there's a lot of examples. Like you can pull up there. I think, what is it? Digital Foundry
Pictures like that.
I think Digital Foundry's done a series on this at some point too, but I think some of their stuff is paid now or like, gated behind some type of subscription, but there's just a bunch of games that like, and you see more and more people going back to more of the timeless graphics, going back to games that still stood the test of time. RuneScape's a great example. Like people love RuneScape. It runs on everything and anything. It's a cool gameplay loop. It's a, one of those comfort games. Brandon, you know that. I mean, I like it too. World of Warcraft, another great example of like, it'll run on a damn toaster. It's subscription based, but people still pay it. And, mind you, I'm sure they were hit by this too, because they are one and the same now, right? But um, people do it. So I don't know. I feel like people buy these shiny 5090s only to go back and play like Minecraft and RuneScape. And, they'll play through Cyberpunk maybe one more time. And then that's it, because I want to see what can the 5090 actually do. But then what they're actually putting their time into is stuff that's been out for 10 plus years, because nothing that's come out recently, obviously there's some exceptions, Claire Obscure and stuff like that, obviously phenomenal games, but you get my point. It's, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. The devs,
Yeah.
I don't want to be an asshole here. I think it's more of the game companies, right? It's more the game companies, but I also question, it's like, have some of these dev teams, these developmental studios, done all they can do? Are they played out? Are they tired? Are they burnt out in general? What is the problem? Like, have we hit limits of artistic ability when it comes to building games? Have we done all there is that we can almost do?
I mean, I think that, I mean, obviously, if you look at the indie space, that's the answer right there. There's so much coming out of indie studios. Even Claire Obscura is a small team that absolutely should not have made such a wonderful game, based on the fact that so many of those people don't even work in video games until Claire Obscura.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy. But
Just passion
I
shows, man.
like, people are asking, like, is Game Pass sustainable, kind of as part of this conversation? And I'll be honest, I don't think that the AAA development process is sustainable at all.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
the only way it might be, and I think this is why Microsoft is going, and that is this kind of Game Pass subscription model, because you can't put the money into making these huge titles and then it just bomb and it's gone. If you have a subscription service that it's all about volume, even you can have these, Indiana Jones, and it doesn't have to sell out the wazoo. It just has to keep subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And I I mean, the reason that these game companies aren't putting out awesome games when a one person studio can outdo them half the time, is because you have boards of directors and people, like, making decisions about art. And that always comes down to money. And when you build I mean, you look at some of these old arcade games that were made to eat quarters, and that sucked. And if you went and played them and had to use actual quarters, it would suck. But now you emulate them and you just hit the select button 5,000 times and it feels so good. But, like, you're making these games uh, with the primary driver being money, and that isn't a sustainable thing. And I think that it's just starting to eat itself. Um, like, I really think that I'm not saying it'll ever go away completely, but I do think that we're in a bit of a crisis mode with big companies, because I think that they're realizing that live service isn't a never-ending golden goose.
Mm-hmm.
They're having things
Thank
like
God.
400 million on Concord that just is gone in 2 weeks, 2 freaking weeks for that game. And I think that things like that, and what was the other one? Uh, there's another one recently, but either way, I think the companies are starting to freak the ever loving crap out. And that's why you're getting these layoffs, because they're like, we're not going to make all the money that we thought we were going to, and that's not okay. So let's fire a whole bunch of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I think I read something recently. I don't have the articles in front of me about how, like, for AAA games, the cost is ballooning, and that they're spending inordinate amounts of money on these games, and it's becoming, near impossible to recoup your investment. And like I get board members getting a little like, ooh, I don't know if we should spend all that money on art because we got to make our money back. At the same time, I kind of point to something like Baldur's Gate 3, where Larian threw like all in on there. Like there's a ton of stuff in Baldur's Gate 3 that is like ostensibly a waste of time to put in because less than 1% of the player base is going to see it. But it's there, and it's what makes the game art. You know what I mean? And um I think that's part of the reason like that one did so well is because they just went above and beyond on every step of the way. And most games, I mean, like Call of Duty, it literally on games like Call of Duty, it feels like they put in as little effort as humanly freaking possible to get it out the door. And a lot of times it ships and people are like, this thing is broken. My aiming doesn't work right. I remember when, the last Call of Duty shipped, and with a controller, as long as you like touch somebody with your reticle and then pulled your finger off of it, you could like the aim bot would snap you onto that person. The person could run in circles around while you tried to shoot them. I mean, it's like very frustrating, to watch AAA studios go like just ram out what feels like trash, but at the same time, it's had like millions of dollars poured into it. So like, what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, one thing is, I don't think it's all about money, which I should clarify, because I do think that a lot of times it is that somebody's like, how can we get money out of this? And that means we have to make certain decisions, especially when it comes to live service type stuff, battle passes, that kind of thing. I think the other thing is mismanagement of an artistic endeavor where you have people who I mean, these huge teams, they're going in a direction, and then it's like it gets off track. I mean, if you try to get hundreds of people doing the same, like building something, and your entire process is around, we're going to get hundreds of people together and build a thing. Like, it's not like you're building, okay, we're going to build a business where we're all doing the same thing every day for the next 50 years. And we're just iterating on that same thing all the time. It's no, we've got to start from scratch, and we've got to build a work of art in 5 years, and then we start over and do it again. And I think that the process of trying to do that with these huge teams is just not an easy one. And I think that oftentimes it just fails because and it isn't even, I think I might have said mismanagement. It's not even mismanagement as much as that's almost an impossible job to do it really great. That's why you're coming out with people where these games are not optimized, because they're trying to do more and more and more, and you get bigger and bigger and bigger teams. And the process for making that into a cohesive art piece of art or piece of entertainment, or however you want to say it, it's just getting unsustainable. Like, I really don't feel like that AAA space is sustainable without, I mean, honestly, I do think that Game Pass and subscription kind of models allow for that more than just a traditional buy and selling. I think that it allows you to kind of absorb some of the big hitters because you're getting a lot of smaller ones. I still think that Microsoft's strategy feels sound, even if the way that they're doing it sucks right now. And I'm certainly not a fan. And I used to be a Microsoft fan. I thought they were doing things right, but it doesn't feel like it. And then you compare it with a Nintendo, who obviously they have their own stupid stuff they do, but in terms of laying people off, the only thing I could find, because I was like, I've never heard, I think they laid off 120 people last year in a QA department in Nintendo of America, but they haven't laid off. Now, there's some cultural stuff there where Japanese law prohibits things a lot more than US law. there are Japanese companies that have been accused of basically they set their employees that they want to fire in a room with nothing to do until they quit.
All right. So not only did Nintendo like not fire, but last year the Nintendo CEO halved his salary to stop pay to prevent layoffs.
Was that last year or was that
That
in
was
the team?
2024, February
Oh.
13th. Hold on.
I mean-
yeah. I mean, like,
and-
I got it here or here.
No, I had seen that and I thought it said 2014, so I didn't say anything. But
No, 2024. That's crazy,
And-
man. If
and
only
that's
we could
how
get some
you
of that
should- I
culture.
mean, if you are, and there's plenty of American companies ran by good people that I've seen do similar stuff in hard
Mhm.
times. You hear notes. I don't want to take that and be like only Japanese companies can do it.
Sure.
But it's certainly in our tech giants, like, and the gaming community is just decimated with layoffs. But we probably should move on, guys, if we wanted to try to get in time.
Well, we got scattered spider escalates.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to bring this one up because I've seen a lot of noise about it, and so I wanted to go ahead and call it out. So Scattered Spider is, ransomware group. The bad stuff. They've been out there hitting people for, wow. Now I'm sorry, I don't have any of like its history on hand. But I did want to talk about some of the stuff that they're doing here. So, one of their calling traits is that they try to use voice phishing to bypass multi-factor authentication. They'll do it by trying to social engineer the help desk. So if you're in a position where you are, over the help desk or influencing the help desk or on the help desk, this is your hint to, be careful. Don't just reset people's passwords, reset MFA methods, multi-factor authentication methods, change phone numbers, stuff like that without some sort of identification. If you are in a position where like you're like somehow tangentially related to the help desk or on the help desk and you don't have identity verification as part of your password reset process, you should probably look at doing that. I do want to call out that the FBI said that that they're specifically targeting the aviation industry in the U.S. at the moment. So not that I feel like we got a lot of U.S. aviation people that follow us, but maybe if you're in U.S. aviation help desk, be careful. They're getting in there and they're leveraging tools like VPNs, TeamViewer, AnyDesk, and other like similar remote access tools for persistence. So they're going to get in there. They're going to convince you to install their software or, give you their credentials or whatever it is. They're going to try and pivot to your virtual environment, specifically targeting vCenter ESXi hosts. And they're going to try and encrypt there at the host level. And so it makes it harder to restore, I guess. And then they're also going to try and target your backup and recovery systems and, steal your data before getting out. What can you do about it? Number one, use phish resistant multi-factor authentication. Ideally that's something that you get notifications on and, you can report, from your phone that you're being attacked or, even better have like a hardware key of some sort. Or a rotating tokenized password, somewhere where somebody can't get you to push a button on accident. If you're, like I said, if you're working the help desk, do identity verification. I recommend callbacks specifically. I know that sounds really painful, but I've been through the implementation of this like 3 times at this point. And when it's done, it's way better than other methods. And, people just get used to it, basically.
A lot more painful to recover
Yep.
from ransomware.
Yep. Like, I'm sorry that sucks that your password calls, are a little disjointed or take a little longer. But, the alternative is spending, weeks on end in a war room and then dealing with insurance and legal problems and everything else. And, you just don't want none, brother. Um, let's see, monitor your logs, centralize your logs. You know, that one's a little harder. You know,
Go back and look, watch our tips for security.
Yeah,
That's what
actually,
you should do.
yeah,
Because we went into a lot of good ideas there.
yeah. I mean yeah, you're getting started stuff. It's really a lot of the same stuff. You know, I would say make sure you have the right tooling in place. You know, seams and XDRs can, when combined, can, you know, get you data quickly and help move you to a point where you're aware and able to act on the problem sooner than later. And then, you know, of course, implement these privileged access. You know, don't give somebody access to where they don't need to be. And I would say the very last thing is segregate your network. You know, bad actors shouldn't be able to, you know, connect to VPN and they immediately pivot to your ESXi host. Some of this stuff is stuff that we covered with Dave in our interview with the ransomware specialist. I think that, or with the ransomware responder, that was episode 0037. You know, recommend go check that out. That was a really interesting
also known
episode.
as episode 37.
Gosh, I know, but I just like read it and it says 00 right here. And so I read it, and I recommend you go check out that one. That was a good episode. We talked about Skype. We talked about Russia is friend or no, we don't know. And we talked about in the influencing of chatbots. There you go. Can you influence the Barbie chatbot as a threat actor to make it do
sure
Russian talking points? Okay, back on topic. So sorry. That's not a tactic, technique, or procedure of Scattered Spider, by the way. That's just
Not yet.
musings.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There we go. Do you guys think I missed anything? Man, I mean, it's more the same. You know, I read these things, it's usually the same things. You know, patch your crap. Make people use MFA. Specifically, in this case, they say don't use SMS based MFA because they've been SIM swapping. SIM swapping is where you like steal a SIM card from somebody's phone and put it in your phone. And now you have their phone number. Or, you know, I've listened to Darknet Diaries podcast where they talk about hanging out outside T-Mobile stores and jacking and like stealing tablets out of the person's hands and then having 10 minutes like attach passwords to SIM cards, or sorry, attach phone numbers to SIM cards. So, I mean, it gets a real threat. So, I don't know. Anything else, guys? Did I miss anything? No? Yes?
No, I think it covers it. And I think the main thing is that this group is getting some attention.
Yeah.
But it is not any different than, like...
For sure.
It's just a reminder. You got to take this crap seriously in your life, whether that's personally or with business. Don't be like me and Brent and be pragmatic and just be like, meh.
Yeah, right. Be more like me.
I'd say I think the scarier one, which is funny too, because I did my quarterly security training, and it was essentially focused on the social engineering aspect. It was, you know, the vishing, the making the voice sound just like your CEO, making them, you know, be able to jump on a Teams call and it look like them and sound like them, and they're asking you to wire money, you know.
Okay. So like we just had this debate internally today about how real are these threats. So like, what do you guys? I know we're off topic here, we're out of time, but I do want to have this like very like this organic conversation. Like, do you guys like? I know that it's theoretically possible, but do you think bad actors are doing this on a regular basis? They're like buying the software to be my CEO so they can call me and be my CEO.
I think it's targeted, because what's the one company, was it a Chinese company or whatever, where this was like, this is where it became prevalent. It was that they got on a Teams call, they had like the whole board was emulated almost. It wasn't just the CEO, it was multiple folks, including the financial person, giving the orders, and they got the signature from the real person and lost a shit ton of money. It was millions of dollars. And it was all because they literally targeted this company. I guess they had an insider at some point that was able to kind of give them additional juice and, you know, spill the tea, as they say. And Yeah, I mean, they pulled it off. So is it possible? Yeah. Now,
Listen, yes, yeah, I admitted that. I knew it was possible though, but like, do you guys feel like
I
you
mean,
should
I
be
think if
spending
it was
engineering hours on
happening-
it?
I don't think that is where I think putting time into training people don't trust anything
Mhm.
and having that as a part of it. But at the end of the day, there's other ways that you can mitigate things like that. Shouldn't be able to have a Teams call with an external person under the same name as an internal person without something triggering something.
Yeah.
You know, like there's other checks and balances. I don't hear it, so I'm guessing it isn't happening a lot right now.
Okay.
If it is happening, we'll probably start hearing about it soon. But I think it's one of a lot of things, and probably not at the top of the list.
It just feels like a lot of effort to do that.
Depends on how much money you're getting, though.
I mean, like, sure.
That's what I was saying. Like, if you're
Yeah.
the company they decide to target, it's a huge issue.
Okay,
But if you're
yes,
not
that I
somebody who's
agree.
putting that effort into it, so the likelihood that my random company is
That's
the
what
one
I'm
that's gonna
talking
get
about.
targeted,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, I think us here and probably our demographic, not so much, but
bearded people.
yeah, right. Bald and bearded. Yeah, I don't know.
Matt's
I
not
don't know.
bald yet.
No, I'm not bald. I still has the hair.
He keep working in cybersecurity, he'll be bald.
Yeah, for real, man. The stress.
All right. So any closing thoughts there? We're at time. Anything else?
I can't wait to believe we made it at time.
We did it. We're 1 minute over, but we did it. Nothing?
That's all.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate all the love and support, as always. If you're watching the
Bye-bye.
VOD, thank you for watching the VOD. Hit us up on Discord and talk to you guys and gals later.
Bye, Miss Mannequins.
Bye.
Bye, Mermaid.
Tune in tight to the digital roar. Brent's got tech, he's laying the lore. From circuits and chips to the cyber core. Plug in and we'll give you more. Matt's on the edge, watch those pixels fall. He cracks the code, solves it all. Dark web secrets, firewalls tall. In the cyber jungle, he's the call. Digital ascent, we're climbing high. Voices in the ether touch the sky. With tech and